So I want to talk to you guys about Zillow. Zillow is such a well-known platform. Everyone knows about it. We've all heard about it. 9 times out of 10, we've all used it in some way, shape, or form, right? I use Zillow myself, and I was using Zillow obviously way before I became a realtor. And I looked it up. Zillow came out in 2006. So now it's 2026, which means that it's been out there for 20 years. It is a platform that we know by name. We know how to use it. It's very user-friendly. It's made that way. It is made to be user-friendly. They want you to go to their platform and they want you to use it. And it's definitely set up that way. It hasn't had a lot of changes over the years. Like this, what I see today when I pull up Zillow is almost the same exact thing that I saw, 20 years ago when it first came out. So that has really, I think, resonated with people, is that you go back to what you're familiar with. You also go back to what's easy to use and what makes the most sense, right? And so we all keep going back to Zillow. So I use Zillow for a couple of reasons. I use Zillow, number one, because I've been using it forever. Number one, I'm familiar with it. The same reasons that you use Zillow are all the same reasons that I use Zillow. It's a very, very powerful tool, especially if you're not a realtor and don't have access to the things that I have access to. And it's where you guys go. And so me continuing to use Zillow is not me not recognizing the options and resources that I have available to me, but more so staying engaged and in line with what you guys are using. I want to meet you where you're at. And so you're on Zillow and I want to be on Zillow too. So I am always looking things up on Zillow. When I'm talking to people and we're talking about things, I know how to use Zillow like the back of my hand, just like you guys do, right? But, all the other things are constantly changing. There's a lot of, there's homes.com, realtor.com, etc. Those platforms change. I don't personally feel like they're quite as easy to navigate and access. And maybe just because I've been using Zillow for so long, I don't exactly know, but Zillow is very, very powerful. And there's a couple things that you may not know about Zillow that I want to let you know. But first I want to say that Zillow for me is like WebMD to most people, right? It is a place that you go to find information out, but it is not meant to substitute the advice and the function of a professional in that industry. So WebMD does not replace your doctor or your nurse, right? And diagnosing whatever your condition is. It just allows you to kind of find something and maybe get a little bit of peace of mind if you can sift through all the other things. And Zillow's kind of like that too for realtors, right? So you're on Zillow and you're looking, you find your neighbor's house or, a house a few neighborhoods over that you've always wanted to live in, and you get all the information, but we're still here to really dig a little bit further into that property and for contract negotiations and writing it up and setting it over and doing all those things. So it doesn't replace us as realtors. We still very much have a place at the table for you. We are there to work for you. And a lot of people think, well, I don't need a realtor. I can do this myself. Well, I'm a proponent. I think everybody can do everything themselves. Like, I'm going to rah-rah you all the way there. And if you got a question, I'm still going to answer your question, even if you don't hire me. But I also think that, you go to the gym to work out and to have access to maybe equipment that you don't have in your home for one reason or the other, right? Space, price, etc. Well, you go to a realtor to have access to tools and resources and knowledge that you don't have readily available to you. And that's why you would come to someone like me to do those things for you. And I'm not really running the process for you. I'm not running, this is your journey. You're navigating the way, you're in the front seat, right? I'm just in the passenger seat and I'm just helping you get the things done. So if you kind of look at it that way, I think that, maybe there can be more of a positive relationship with realtors, because I know I've had a lot of bad realtors in my own personal experience, right? They just don't, I don't know, sometimes they just kind of feel ick. I don't even know a better word than ick. I don't ever, recall very many in my past that I felt genuinely cared about me and what I was looking for. And I've always strived to be the realtor that I wanted to find, like all those years, right? My first realtor was absolutely amazing. I absolutely loved her. And I've always wanted to emulate that when I became a realtor. I want to be passionate and I want to be compassionate about what you want and what your goals are. I don't care if you're my only customer or if I have 5 million in front or behind you. I want you to feel heard and seen in what your homeowner goals are. So if you've got $1 million to spend or you've got $100,000 to spend, it doesn't matter to me. Like, my approach is going to be the same. It's going to be real. It's going to be down to earth, and we're going to dig in and we're going to get whatever it is that you need to accomplish your goal. And I truly do care. I care about, you know, your hurdles, and I care about where you're at right now. And I want to help you achieve your goals. Like, I am truly invested in you in your life. Like, we are just going to be besties, not just while you're buying a house or selling a house. But even after that, like, I want you to call me and say, hey, Dawn, oh my gosh, you know what? I sprung a leak in the bathroom. Do you know a good plumber that I could call? And I want to be able to provide that to you because you trusted me enough to reach out to me to tap into my list of people that I have vetted, that I trust explicitly, to help my neighbors and my friends and my customers, and that is something that I want you to have access to, right? I want you to call me up and say, oh my gosh, I'm so excited, you know, after owning the house for 3 years, we're finally doing that outdoor kitchen. I can't wait to have you over for steaks on the grill, or, you know, a glass of wine on the patio, or whatever, or send you the plans or show you the updated pictures. Like, that's what I want you to get from me. I don't want you to get that ick, you know, salesy realtor feel. Like, okay, yeah, I mean, I have a job to do, I gotta sell. But I mean, it's not just selling like a piece of jewelry. Like, it's important. It's your future. It is not just like your financial future. That's a huge part of it, but like, it's where you're gonna lay your head down at night. Like, I mean, it matters how you feel about that house and how you got to that house. I want it to be positive as possible from the beginning to the very end, until you lay your head down on the pillow in your bed, in your master bedroom, the very first night. I don't think I'm allowed to say master. I think I have to say like primary. Anyway, now I want you to have that feeling. I want you to run around and hug the walls and say, these are my walls. I worked hard for these walls. That's what I want you to have, because that's what I had, and that's what I want you to have. And so I want you to know that I'm invested every step of the way. Like, I truly care about you, what you want, and where you are. And I want to be your partner in getting everything that you ever dreamed of getting. So back to my Zillow conversation. I always end up on a tangent. So my point is, you know, we all use Zillow, and if the realtors are out there not using Zillow, shame on them. They truly should be using Zillow, right? I mean, we can leverage that. We have so many resources available to us, and we do use all those resources that you guys don't have access to, because I mean, truthfully, we pay for those resources, so we're definitely going to use them. But just because we pay for them doesn't mean that they're any better, I think, than something that you can get for free. So Zillow, very powerful, because you can find rentals and you can find houses for sale. One thing that Zillow has that the MLS that I have access to does not have is, it does not have for sale by owners, and it does not have private rentals, meaning, you know, they didn't hire an agent or a management company to list in the MLS. So if I'm selling my house, I don't obviously have to go with a realtor. I can sell my house for sale by owner, and I can list it on Zillow for free. It won't cost me a single dime. I can take my own pictures and I can upload them. I can put my own description in there, and I can do all the things, and then I can have it go active and list it for sale as my property on Zillow that everybody in the world is gonna see, right? MLS doesn't have that. If you're listing your house for sale by owner, I cannot go to the MLS and see that property for sale by owner unless you've done it through a real estate agent. And because you don't have to, I'm not going to see that information. So only people that are using Zillow are going to see that information. The other thing is that if you have a rental house, so say I decide to rent my house out. Well, if I'm not going to go through a management company or a realtor, I can list it on Zillow, again, for free. I can upload all the information, and I can have me as the direct contact I'm not going to see that on the MLS. That is very, very powerful. That is something that the MLS does not offer. Now, I'm a realtor telling you that, but I'm telling you, Zillow is so incredibly powerful that we need to all be using it, right? We all need to show up in the same exact place so that we can meet your needs and you can understand where I'm coming from, and we all see all the same stuff, right? I shouldn't be looking in this database and like, oh, well, that's not what I see in here. Well, this is what I see. No. We all need to be looking in the same place. You don't need another app that you need to download onto your phone or your computer, right? You don't need another place to go, another place to give your personal data to, your information to. You've had Zillow for 20 years. Why are you going to change it? Well, I can set up personalized searches for you. You can give me all the details, your price range, your bedrooms, your area, all that kind of stuff, right? And I can set up a customized search, and I can have that go directly to your email. And I can also send you a link to my platform so that you can go to my website and you can see them, so that you can go to my app and you can put all that in there, and then you can see your customized home search. But you already have that available to you on Zillow. You can go on Zillow and you can set up your own customized home search. So why are you going to use my stuff? It's just not how business is done anymore. And guys, I say this all the time. We're not buying houses the way that we used to in the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and even early 2000s. We're just not doing it. It is outdated. We need to meet you where you are, because truthfully, it's where we are too. And so, trying to navigate all these different places that everybody wants you to do is insane to me. We don't need another place to enter our data and information into. We already have Zillow. They already have our stuff. They've already sold it 20 times. We don't need, a new platform or whatever, right? So you can do that yourself. You're certainly not going to go to my app, and you're not going to go to my email, and you're not going to dig it up in the middle of the night when you can't sleep. You're going to go to Zillow. That's where we're all going. We all go to Zillow, you guys. We all go to Zillow. So that being said, it's very powerful. But the other thing that it's really powerful for is on Zillow, if you're looking at a property and you scroll down to the bottom of that property, you can see the sale journey of that house. So how many times it's been listed for sale, what it's sold for, and how many times it's been in and out of contract. And so the reason why that's powerful is because inventory is rising and homes are sitting for a lot longer. And so if you know a little bit about the background of that home, that might change your perspective a little bit, right? Like, I'm still there to write your contracts and do the negotiations for you. But let's just say that you want to live in Bardmore Estates down in Pinellas County. You're like, I've always wanted to live in Bardmore. I just do. And so you're like, well, houses have been sitting a little bit longer. They're not really flying off the shelf anymore. Let me go ahead and extend my Zillow search out to Bardmore. And then I start looking and I see, well, gee, this house has been on the market for 100 days. And then I go into that property and I scroll down and I'm like, wow, it's been under contract 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, and each time it's fallen out of contract. I wonder why that is, right? And it's, sometimes it's not by any fault of the seller or even the buyer, right? It doesn't matter. It could be 1,000,001 reasons, and Zillow isn't necessarily going to tell you why it's fallen in and out of contract. And the information that's going to be on Zillow, it's directly from the MLS if they're using a realtor. And so a lot of times you might see things like back on the market at no fault of the sellers. And that might be true. We don't know, right? But it may not be true. I mean, who knows? It could have, the financing may not have worked out on the buyer's side. Maybe something, came through in the inspection and the buyer said, hey, I want you to fix this before I buy your house. And the seller's like, nope, it's as is. And so they decided that they could not agree and come to the table to get this deal to close. And so now the contract was canceled during the inspection period and it's back on the market. That's exactly what could happen. So we don't know that. But what I'm saying is that this is just information purposes. We're just looking and seeing like, hey, this house has been on the market. By this point, the seller's probably tired because it's getting contract after contract and it's not going through. I might have some leverage here. I might have some negotiating room. I may actually be able to get into that neighborhood in Bardmore that I've always wanted to live. Or maybe you need a 3-bedroom, but your budget says you can only have a 2-bedroom, right? That's like what's coming around. The area that you need to buy, all you can afford, all your budget says, all your lender says is you can afford is a 2-bedroom. But things have been sitting for a little bit longer. And so now you're like, let me go on there and look at 3 bedrooms. Wow, look at here. Here's a 3-bedroom in a neighborhood that I've always wanted to live in. I didn't think that I could get a 3-bedroom because my budget says, but this house has been for sale for 4, 5, 6 months now. It's been in and out of contract. That might be some negotiating room for me. And so now I'm gonna put an offer in that's respectful, but it's still within my budget, and I might be able to get that 3-bedroom house. So do you see how Zillow can be such a powerful tool for you? It's information, it is data, it is the WebMD of real estate, and you need to be using it. Well, truth is, you guys are already using it. I know that you're using it, but I want you to use every aspect of it, right? And even if you find a for sale by owner, right? I can still represent you, right? It's just the seller is not having any representation from a realtor, but I can still represent you as the buyer. That doesn't mean that you don't need to have the representation. In fact, you should have representation, because there's a lot of things in a Florida as is residential contract that people don't know about. A lot of times for sale by owners might be investors or people that maybe have a little bit of background in the real estate industry, and that's okay. But also, that's not necessarily a good thing. I mean, they may be kind of sneaking some things into those contracts that you're not going to be aware of, and you need to know. And a lot of those are in the inspection period. It is all to do with that inspection period, because they know that that's the automatic out for you, and so they sneak these different little things in there. So that's why it's so important to have the representation of a realtor. But more so, I just really kind of wanted to go through and talk about Zillow, the powerful tool that it truly is, and let you guys know, listen, I'm out there, I'm on Zillow. And if you don't know how to set up a customized home search on Zillow, give me a call. Let's set it up for you so that you're getting the information from the platform that you are the most familiar with and you know about.